This screencast I'm going to demonstrate how to use the My IT Lab environment to complete your first simulation training assignment. So the first thing you do is navigate to Canvas, and we're either going to click on this My IT Lab icon, or on the left hand side we can click on the My Lab and Mastering. But either one is going to take us to the same place, so click on that. And then when we get there, we're going to select either this My IT Lab course content or course home. Either one will take you to the same place, I believe. So click on that, and take a few seconds to bring up the My IT Lab environment. Once we get there, we get these folders, and the first simulation training exercises in the Module 2 folder, so we're going to select that and open it. And there we will find the Word Chapter 1 simulation training. And so when we're going to use that pull-down menu to open that, and that'll take us into the simulation environment. Once we're there, it'll take a minute. And I'm doing this so you can see exactly what to expect when you do these different steps. So, okay, so that'll take us into this environment. And in the top section here, by the top section here, I mean this section up here. And I think it actually includes this part here. That's going to be what you would normally see if you logged in and you were using Word. It's going to look just like that. In the bottom section here are the instructions and the things that we're going to use to complete the simulation training. So to do that, the first instruction is, in the blank Word document, show the non-printing format marks. Okay, I know how to do that, but you may not. So if you don't know what to do, here's something that an option you can choose. Over here in this section that I'm highlighting are the learning aids. And so if I click on that, I get the option to practice, watch, or read. Most of the time you're going to want to choose the practice. If you choose the practice, it'll tell you.
On the Home tab, in the paragraph group, click Show Hide.
Yeah, it'll tell you exactly what to do. So you click on the Show Hide, and that's it for this step. So then it'll take us back to the actual simulation environment, and we still have the same instruction in the blank Word document, show the non-printing formatting marks. So click on that, and it shows that little backwards P, and so that's showing that since this is a blank document, it doesn't really have any non-printing formatting marks, so it just shows next to the cursor. So now we're going to type only what's in the blue font here, and by the blue font I mean this Aspen Falls Human Resources. We're going to type that in right where the cursor is. So Aspen Falls Human Resources, and hit enter. Okay, and then at the insertion point, or in the next line there, we're going to type only what's in blue font, the 500 South Aspen Street. So 500. And if you don't type it correctly, I'm going to make a mistake here just to show you. It's going to say incomplete action. So then you'll have to go back and look, okay, what did I do wrong? In this case, I misspelled street. So I put the street in there, move my cursor to the end, and hit enter. And then that completes that question. So and then it'll eventually come back with the next set of questions. So now you can see that we're on question 2 of 10, and here is our next instruction, which is in the recipient address, use a shortcut menu to ignore all instances of the word Gatto. So we go down here to the word Gatto, And it's in the greeting. You can see that's what we're talking about. So we go back. And to use the shortcut menu to fix that, if we're not sure about how to do that again, we can go to the learning aids, view learning aids, and practice it. And it'll tell us what to do.
Right-click Gato, and from the shortcut,
click the ignore all, and that's it. And it'll take us back to the training environment. And we're gonna have to scroll down and find Gato again. Right-click and ignore all. Click on the ignore all. And you can see that now it's moved on to the next instruction down here. Okay, simultaneously apply the no spacing style to the first two lines of the letterhead. So we go up here to the first two lines, highlight those first two lines, and in this case, you can find the styles up here in the on the Home tab in the Styles section, and there's one called No Spacing. So I click on the No Spacing style, and it changes. You notice it reduced the space in between those first two lines. And now in the first paragraph below the subject line, here's the subject line, so here's the first paragraph. We want to correct the word project. So it should, instead of several project, it should be projects. So like before, to get to the shortcut menu, we've got that squiggly blue line. This time it's a blue line, and that means it's a grammar issue. So we click on the right-click on that, change it to projects, or select projects, and that fixes that. Now we can see up here at the top of our document, this first line here in our document, Aspen Falls Human Resources, is left justified when the second two lines of the heading are not. So we're going to fix that. And the way that we fix that is to we want that to be centered. So up here in the paragraph section, we can see it's left justified. All we have to do is select the center, and it moves it over. We didn't have to highlight the line. We just have to have the cursor positioned on that line. Like now, if I position the cursor in the middle of that line and now click on the left justified, oh, it didn't change it. I guess it has to be at the beginning. Oh, it doesn't work because this is in the simulation environment. So sorry. If we were actually in Word, it would change it. Okay, so let's move on to the next step here. In the paragraph that begins, thank you, change the word us to City Hall. So we go down, and here is the paragraph that begins with thank you, right here. And we want to change this word us to City Hall. So to do that, if we're not sure how to do that, I think most of you are, but we could use the practice again. But I happen to know if you double click on that, it'll highlight that word. And then we want to just type in City Hall, and that'll change it to City Hall. And then hit it. And then once we're done with that, we want to select all the document text. So to do that, let's go to the learning aid and figure out how to do that. Have it show us.
Press Control A,
oh,
and then
Control
on the Home
A.
tab, in the font group, click.
Now in the font group, we click on the pull down and choose the Calibri font, and then it'll take us back to the simulation environment, and we do it again. So we want to do it to all the document text. So how do we select the all text? Control A, and we can see the whole document is highlighted. Then we're going to go up here to the font section and choose the Calibri font. And that completes that step. Now we want to move to the end of the document. And in the Canvas course module 2, I included a link to all of the most commonly used keyboard shortcuts. And so the keyboard shortcut to move to the end of the document just happens to be Control and then the End key, and that'll take you to the end of any Microsoft Word document. And then we want to insert a manual page break. So we might not know how to do that. Again, you can use the learning aids to figure that out. But if we go to the Insert tab, we've got these different a different ribbon for each one of these tabs. Oh, I can't do that in the simulation environment. I'll show you that in the actual Word environment. But the page break, click on the page break, and it inserts the manual page break. And now we want to switch down here in the bottom. If we were running Word and we had multiple documents open, we'd have this Word icon on this menu ribbon, and we can select that and then go up here and choose this other document that they want us to copy all the text on this and then switch back to the other document. So to copy it all, we want to select the text. And how do you do that? Control A, remember? And then we want to copy it. We can either go up here to the Home tab and select Copy. And if we hover over the copy, we can see that it shows copy. It shows the keyboard shortcut for that menu ribbon command, which is Control C. Most of you are probably familiar with that already. Control C. So I'm going to do a Control C here. And then I'm going to go back to the other document, and we already have it positioned where we want to paste the text. And we can either do this paste. Again, if we hover, see it shows the keyboard shortcut Control V. So I'm going to do Control V. And that finishes that step. Okay. Then we're going to move to the beginning of the document. How do you do that? Remember? Control Home. Takes you up to the beginning of the document. And we want to start the spelling and grammar checker. Okay? So again, we have to move to a different tab. That's on the Review tab. So we go over and select the spelling and grammar checker. And we delete the repeated word the. Over here, you can see it's a repeated word. It's a repeated word. And the repeated word is right here. Okay? So we want to delete it. So we're going to go ahead and hit the delete key. All right. Now we want to use the spelling and grammar pane to replace all occurrences of the misspelled word computer at the same time. Okay? So if we look over here in the review section, we can see that computer is misspelled. And it may be misspelled in a number of places. So we're not going to take any chances. We're just going to go change all. Okay? And then we also have a punctuation error. So over here we can see employees. So it's indicating ownership. So you should have an apostrophe. So right now it's spelled like this, or it has this grammatical error, and they're suggesting that you change it to employees apostrophe. Okay? So we're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and change that to the suggested change that they gave us. And then we just click OK. Now we want to set the word's options to check grammar and style. So we're going to click. We're going to do that over here. When we click on the File menu, we get taken to what they call the Microsoft Office back office. And we have one of the things here is options. We select the options. And under proofing, we go down, and in the writing style, right now it's when correcting spelling, let me just highlight this, when correcting spelling and grammar in Word, right now it's only checking grammar. We want it to check grammar and style. So we're going to click that option, and now we want it to recheck the document. So before we close out that dialog box, we're going to click on this recheck document, and then we're going to just say yes, and then we have to close the dialog box, and we're done. So now in the paragraph below the heading database designers, so we scroll down and find that database designers is down here. Whoops, not very good. But in that section, we want to change the word so to therefore. So we're going to right click on the word so and just select therefore, comma. All right, and then in the paragraph starting, we offer other classes. And just so you know, when I tried this before, it didn't work. It seemed like there was a bug in the simulation environment. So I actually had to save it and then go back in and do that again for that to work. But when I went back in and did it, it worked. So if you run into that problem, try clicking on the save button for save for later, and then just go right back in and do it. For some reason, it resets the simulation environment. So in the paragraph starting, we offer other classes, which is a one-sentence paragraph down here. Here it is. We offer other classes intermittently. We're going to use the shortcut menu to replace the word intermittently with the synonym occasionally. So if I right-click on intermittently, I have the option of going down to synonyms and trying to find out, let's say I don't like that word, I want to look for a different word, so I can choose occasionally. And this is kind of a handy feature of Word. So we're going to choose occasionally, and that completes that question. And then you can see we're on question 7 of 10 now, which is where you should be. And we're going to use the Format Painter to apply formatting in the first line of the document, Aspen Falls Human Resources. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. And I'm going to click once on the Format Painter. And then I want to go down to the second page, or the top of the second page there, and highlight the internship positions, and it applies that same formatting and style to that heading. And now we're going to copy the formatting of Office Assistants, but this time we want to copy it so that the Format Painter will remain active after it's applied. This first time that we did it, it became inactive as soon as we applied it. So to do that, we highlight the Office Assistants, which is the format we want to copy, and we double-click on the Format Painter. And now when we move see how that's a little paintbrush? Now we can just click on anywhere in Presentation Designers, and it applies the format to that. And we also want to do it to the assistant analysts. So click there, and that's that. So if you double click on the Format Painter, it remains active until you click on it again, and then that deactivates the Format Painter. So now we're on question 8 of 10, and we're going to select the first line of the document, Aspen Falls Human Resources, and we're going to apply the small caps font effect. Do not close the dialog box. Okay, you want to read the entire instruction. So it says, first of all, to apply the small caps font effect, and then it says don't close the dialog box after you do that. So we've got that highlighted. How do we apply the small caps font effect? Up here in the font section, I don't see anything that says small caps. But over here in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got this arrow, and that opens up more options in the font section. And here's where we find the small caps. And now it says don't. Remember, it said not to close the dialog box because we want to change the character spacing scale to 150% and the spacing to expanded 3-point and then close the dialog box. So to do that, I don't see that anywhere on here. But look, when I click on the Advanced tab, there is a scale. So we want to change that scale. Let me just highlight that real quick. So I clicked on the Advanced tab, and there's this scale, and we can change that scale to 150%. Okay? And then also there's this spacing. Let me just zero in on that. And okay, see the spacing? And we can, and over here is the by. So the second part of this is to expand to, we want the spacing to expanded by 3 points. So we're going to change this to 3. And we're going to click OK. And look what happens to our heading. It makes it look a little more professional. Okay, now this next instruction, 9 of 10, we're almost done. Hang in there. Add the file name field using the default format to the footer of the document. So how do we do that? If you're not sure, we can go over here to the learning aids and practice it. I happen to know how to do it. So up here, we're going to click on the insert. Let me just go through the learning aid real quick. Practice. And I can show you.
Click the Insert
Okay,
tab.
click on the Insert tab. And then
In the header and footer group, click Footer.
click Footer.
And then click Edit Footer.
And then click Edit Footer. And then let's say I know how to do the rest of it.
Header and footer tools
So
design
okay,
tab.
I'm good. I know what to do the rest of the way. I don't want to see the rest of it. I click on that X and dismiss the practice. So now we're back to our instruction. Add the file name field using the default format to the footer of the document. So to do that, remember we go up to Insert. Over here in the header footer section, we're going to select the footer, and we're going to edit the footer. And they want us to put the file name in the footer. So up here in the Insert section, we want to put we want to select the field, and one of the fields that we can select is file name. So when you're creating a footer, and if you want your file name to be in the footer of your document, this is how you do it. And you click OK. Now you can see the file name is down at the bottom in the footer of the document, and it'll be there when you print it out. Now we want to hide the formatting marks, and then set the view to display 2 pages. So you might guess that just by clicking that, again, it hides the formatting marks. And now we want to change the view to 2 pages. Which one of these tabs do you think we would use? View is a likely candidate. And over here in the zoom section, there's multiple pages, and that's how we can select to have it display 2 pages. Now for the last thing, and we'll be done, we want to save the file as a PDF document in the My Documents folder with this name. So to do that, we go to the File menu and click on the Save. Go to the My Documents. You could also click on Save As. We want the document name to be, we want it to have PDF on the end. And we want to save it as a PDF document. So right now, the save type is a Word document. Okay? We don't want it to be a Word document. We want it to be a PDF document. So we're going to click on PDF as the option. Here it is. And then we click Save. And we're done. Now all we have to do is click OK to submit the assignment. And then we have a party. And right away it'll show you we got 100% and that we passed. If you weren't sure, you could go up here, click on View Submissions instead of Open. You can also view grades. You click on the View Grades. This is what you get. 100%. That's what you want to see. This is also how you verify that your assignment was submitted properly. Okay, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed this short, concise lesson. Sorry, it's as concise as I could make it.